Hi guys, my name is Dr. Rocker and this is Esmeralda, who just farted. Oh. Say hello to our fans. Hi.
Stop it. Get some help.
And today I will show you how to create a fully blown anime drawing out of a pencil sketch. Not this one though. All will be done on the iPad with Procreate. That means inking, flattening, coloring, everything really. You will be able to use all of this knowledge for comic book drawings as well, so stay here even if you're not into anime stuff. There will be a ton of tips and tricks that will help you out immensely. So make sure to watch this video till the end, so you won't miss out on anything you will be able to learn here. Okay, to create a cool piece of anime art from sketch, we need to get a sketch. Let's sketch real quick then. The paper I will use is a Strathmore 200 series. It's a really cool Bristol board, you can get it on Amazon. For sketching I will use my 0.5mm mechanical pencil with a 2B lead. Since I want to use this piece for a print to sell at Comic Cons, the format should be 30x40, cause that's the one I can print easily. That's the proper aspect ratio. And because we will ink this thing on the iPad, it doesn't matter how big we draw. You could even use a small sketch to do a proper drawing, so just choose the size you are most comfortable with. But be aware, the bigger you draw, the more details you can put in, which makes it easier when you ink the thing later, but you could also keep your drawing quite loosely and do more of the detailed stuff on the iPad later on. But now, for real, let's sketch real quick. And here we go, a quite simple sketch. You can see there's Son Goku and Vegeta and the big guy. Who knows the name of this one? The one with the blonde hair. Let me know down in the comment section. And now this loose pencil sketch will become a really great drawing. Hopefully. Oh my god! To get this thing on the iPad ready to ink, you can just use a scanner and use at least 300 dots per inch to scan it in. Or what's even way more easy than that, you can just use your iPad to take a picture. After you've taken your photo, you open Procreate and open a new file. We want to define it ourselves, so we use this one right there. And then, in this case, I will use the centimeter because I am here in Europe and I want to print it 30 times 40 centimeters. And I will use, let's say, 500 dots per inch. That should be all we need. So here we have our canvas, and now we press this button right there. Whoop. And then we go to fill in a photo. Take the photo we just took. And now we have it right here, which means we can adjust the size as we want it to. Okay, now we open the layers, add an additional layer. We take the layer from the photo and reduce the opacity. Take the layer we will actually ink on, use our inking tools. And therefore I will use the Gazinki ink because that's the one I like the most. And then we take the pencil and start inking. Should you have one of these gloves, feel free to use it so you can prevent to make an accidental dot when your palm of the hand touches the iPad. For the color we will use just black, of course. And like I showed you earlier, this is the layer we will ink on. A clean layer, nothing's on there right now. You can adjust the size of the pen right here. And the opacity, is it opacity? I'm not really sure, I don't mind, you know what I mean. This should be up there, because we want it to be black as possible. And by the way, if you also should like to use the Gazinki ink, click on that. And then you choose rendering and not the first but the second option, because then it's just black, you know what I mean? Otherwise it wouldn't be perfectly black like that. So make sure to take the second of the choosings. If you are inking something and you don't like it, 2-finger tap is undo and 3-finger tap is redo. But you can see this is way too big, so we need to go way thinner with the pen. Like that. Since this is an anime drawing, you don't have to use line weight, but I like to use line weight. I think it gives, even if it's an anime drawing, it gives the whole drawing way more power. It actually really helps to take a book which is about the same height as your iPad, so you can draw here and still have your palm where it belongs, because to draw like this is a pain in the arse, so use a book or something of the sort. Now you can draw way better. One of the biggest differences between anime drawing and a comic book drawing I would usually do is I guess there will be no hatching lines and no strong blacks really. I really want this to look like a very typical anime drawing. But as you can see already, I still use a lot of line weight and try to keep it a bit more sketchy, which is not very typical for anime drawings, but that's a part I won't leave out, because I still wanted to have my handwriting, at least a little bit. If you want to correct a minor mistake like this one, just use the eraser, and I would just use the one from painting. There's one like this, just a normal pencil. It does nothing extraordinary. It's just a normal pencil. You keep this one up there as far as it goes, and you adjust the size for whatever you want to erase. I can make this bigger so you can see it properly, and then we use this one and voila, looks way better. Also make sure to break up the line every now and then. Also, if a line runs into another one, don't draw this one first. Draw the one first where the line ends up in, and then you draw the line. It's way easier and way better. Same here, these lines run into this one, so I draw this one first. And you can also use fast movements like I do here. It's very swift, but it has way more energy and it will entail to a better result. Also be careful when you want to do this, but you're not careful enough. It can happen that you are making a line instead of that. Always be aware of that. If that happens, undo it and then be more careful the next time. Another tip, should you want to draw a straight line, just draw a line like this, hold it a bit, and then it's a perfect line. And you can even move it around, make it smaller and bigger. And you can also do that with a curve. You can do a curve like that. You can see? That's pretty neat. Very, very useful also when you want to draw a circle like this. You see, you have a perfect circle, just like that. So let's try this out right away. Nice! Look at that. That's a crisp line. Those straight lines, they work excellently on some of Son Goku's hairlines. When you use an extra layer for the different characters, you can draw like this, and if you want to erase this little thing right there, you can just go ahead and do that without touching the line of the other character, which makes it easier. And now we are done with all the lines, so we can get rid of the first layer with just clicking this, and then we can see the whole drawing we got so far. Very clean ink sketch. If you would want to color the sketch right away, not inking it, there's a trick I need to tell you. You just add another layer, put it beneath the one you want to color, and now you go to multiply with this layer, go back to this one, and let's say we want to color it orange. You can color it now without touching the line weight, although it's from a scan, or in this case, it's not a scan but a photo. But you can see it works perfectly, and this way you can use traditional drawings to be colored on the iPad as well. But we inked this thing properly, so we can use just another layer, put it beneath the Son Goku one. I will get rid of these so we can focus on Son Goku first. And now we will use this layer beneath the one from the inks, because I don't want to touch the ink lines, to color the whole thing. Which means first we need to take the lasso tool right there on freehand, and then we will use it like this to trace all the lines, which is very annoying but very necessary to work with this, with the whole thing. And now we will trace all the outlines of the character, so we can use the colors on the character without touching any of the background. You can draw like this, or you can also just use dots in the line. Oh, you might be quicker that way very often, but here like this. And it's very, very boring, very time consuming, but also quite necessary to work properly with this program. But we are almost done. And here we go. Now when we take a pencil and we draw, we only draw inside the area we just traced. And if we want to fill the whole area, we can just use the drag and drop method. Voila! Okay, so now we will choose a proper skin tone. I found one already, like this. And now we will use the drag and drop method to color everything with the skin tones first. Next step is to create another layer. For this layer we will use clipping mask. So everything we draw now, I will show it to you just real quick with another color. Everything we'll draw will also just stick to the one layer down there, which is the whole figure. So now we use this boring tool again, and now we will trace all the stuff right here. We don't have to be careful here. We have to trace this one properly, because I want this one to be skin and this layer will be for the trousers. So let's just trace the trousers real quick. Also quite boring but necessary. But at least we only have to do it a little bit, just where the skin meets the trousers. And now I can use this one. It's actually not too bad for Son Goku, because the trousers are orange like this. And if I use the drag and drop method now, you can see just everything will be colored, which is either traced by this tool or just clipped to the mask. Well, not to the mask, it's called clipping mask, but it's clipped to the layer below. Which means, as you might have guessed, another layer, also using the clipping mask, will be done. And now we will use the same method to create a layer for all the blue stuff. So now we color the blue stuff, just the base colors. You can also use automatic filling right there. It's from this tool. And now we can just trace this one real quick. Again, we don't have to be careful here. Just here we need to be careful, because we want this to stay skin colored. Just like that. And now it's automatically filled. And now the same thing with the hair and the eyes. Just like that. You can see we established all of the ground tones. Now we use this layer, add an additional layer above this one. Also use clipping mask, because now I want to start to work on the hair. And for that one I will also use this tool right there. I will also use the automatic filling, but I will use total black, because most of the hair will be total black. And now I will trace all the lines I need for the hair to be as it should be, and you will see he will look more like Sengoku in a minute. You can see we're getting there. Now I want this part even divided to use a darker gray tone, and for this reason I will use this layer to save layers. And now I will just use this tool again and do that. And I don't have to be careful with the black, because this is a layer over this one. So you can see, works perfectly. Now you can see Sengoku is starting to look a little bit more like Sengoku. But now I will give you another very important tip. If you don't want to use all of these clipping masks all the time and have a little more freedom in this direction, you can just use another layer, create another layer below the line work but above everything else. Then we go ahead and take the first layer, choose this tool again, the mask tool, not the freehand one but the automatic one, and now we will use it here and here, which means we have all the background now in our mask. Then we take the layer we just created, choose like really white, drag and drop the white on the two areas, and now we can also, let me just show you real quick, if we have a new layer beneath there, we can also, even without a mask, draw along as we wish, only the character will be colored. And this is actually better, because now we can get rid of these clipping masks right here. If you rewind the first one, all of them will be gone, and still everything will look good as long as we have the white layer right there. If not, it looks quite funny. But now we can use a clipping mask. Let me just show you. Create another layer above this one. Now we can use a clipping mask only to be used on this one, on the trouser layer, which is quite good, because now we can draw and we will only affect the trousers and nothing else, not the skin, not the background, nothing else, which makes it way easier to go ahead with our drawing. And I know, guys, this seems a lot, all the masks and all the layers and all the stuff, but just try it out. You will wrap your head around it and you will be there in no time and understand everything like you're supposed to understand it. So, let's continue. Now that we have the proper clipping mask, where we can use it to only fill the trousers, we can use like a dark orange tone like this one. Now we use the mask tool again, but the freehand one. Also, I will not use the automatic colors. I will just do a mask like that. Let me just show you real quick. I will use the folds. Now I have this in a mask. Now I will use a paintbrush. I will go with this one. It's the second one. You can also use airbrush tools or whatever you like. And let's just make sure the size is right. Now I will use a little bit more pressure and decrease the pressure once I go up there. And look how nice of a shading this already is. When I remove the mask now, you can see looks pretty dandy. And this I will do a lot of times now with a lot of parts from the trousers. I will also use a very big brush to do an overall shading, like from a bit darker to getting lighter towards the light source, which is up there. So once we are done with the dark areas, we add another layer, just like that. Also clipping mask, and we will use this layer for all the lighter areas, for which we will choose a way lighter color like this one. And now we can go in and freehand a little bit, or also use the mask again and do some extra shadings like this one. Looks nice. When freehanding some lighter areas like this, you can also use this tool right there to do that. You can see that looks really nice. And now I would like to erase this one, so I will use the eraser. And I will be able to erase just the highlights because it's an extra layer. Some highlights at the edge of the folds will look stunning. And we will use more pressure from above and reduce the pressure towards the bottom because the light is coming from above, so there will be a little bit more light than from below. And just like that, the trousers are done. And I moved on, and you can see I already did the blue stuff. Oh, you can see it right there. Same thing, not very difficult. Now it's time for the skin tones. To find the right color for the skin tones, I first want to use this tone. This color we already got. If you want to use a color that already is on your drawing, you just have to tip the finger there, and you can see I could choose black or orange, but I want a skin tone. So now we have the skin tone, and first we will try and find a darker one, like that. Yeah, that looks good. Now we do the same thing, add a layer, use clipping mask, and now all we draw will just be on here. Now we will also use the mask like before, just like that. Then we take the brush and we will go with more pressure and reduce the pressure up there. That's a little bit too dark. Let's just go again. That's better, I guess. And like that we can proceed to do the same thing like we did with the trousers, but I want to show you something different you can do as well. If you would prefer a look that's more like an anime look like in the TV shows, you can just forget of all the shadings and just use the mask for this and really fill it out and use the different colors. I will show you this real quick. Go darker, use the next one right there, and then you go lighter, also use a mask for where the light hits the drawing the most. And this would be more of an anime-like drawing, you know what I mean? Which is also quite cool. If you would pursue a look like that, if you would prefer a look like that, also a cool thing to do. You could even go ahead and use another darker tone like this. Also looks pretty cool. Just fill it out totally. But I like the style with the shadings more, so I will pursue this one. You can see I did the shading I showed you before again, and now I use the same color and just go over it again, and you can see it creates, it adds on and creates a totally different color. So I can use the same color to do even more shadings than one. You can also go ahead and use the whole segment of the muscle like I just did here, and I'll show it to you again. Also looks very nice. Depends on how you prefer it. And then you can still add more variety with doing small muscle shadows like these. You can see it's coming together nicely, and now I masked a bigger area which needs to be in quite some shadows. And now I will do some small masks right there to continue on with everything we need to shadow. Just like that. After being done with all the areas with the same kind of color, I'm using a really dark one now to do some additional shadows. and they will look like this. And even in the shadows you can go lighter towards the light source. The light is coming from this direction. This looks very nice. Looking cool already, but now we will also do some highlights. The main light source is coming from this direction, so we will do most of the highlights like here, just like that. Looks pretty nice. Once this one is done, we do another square one, use a little bit of more pressure, and that's a way I like to do highlights these days. I think there's a lot in there. It's a bit more of a sketchy way, but I like it. And you can also just leave out the mask and just do things like this. Looks pretty cool. And of course do them on an extra layer. If you should have the feeling that a highlight is coming on too strong, like this one here, just use the eraser. You can also use this one of the first brushes, and just tone it down, because when you erase something here, you can even erase it more than that. You will just erase the highlights because they are on an extra layer, of course. The further away from the light source, those highlights become less intense. Okay, I guess we are done with Sangoku, which leaves the background, which I will do now and show you the results in a second. Okay guys, as you can see, everything is colored now. But what we want to do now is, before even adding a background, we want Sangoku to stand out a little bit more. So for that, we will create an extra layer above all of the layers. And you can see I combined all of the layers from the two characters to one. And now we choose this layer again. You can remember this one from before. Then we choose the mask tool on automatic. Get right in there and reverse it. Now everything is chosen behind Sangoku. Now we go on the layer which is above even the lines, and we take the biggest airbrush pencil and we choose the color white. And now we will just go ahead and paint and airbrush the background a little bit, so everything will get a little bit lighter and Sangoku will stand out even more. Be very careful with this one, but still there shouldn't be anything bad able to happen, because we can always just check out how it looks when we remove the layer. But you can see it looks better. He stands out way more like this. When you still think the white in the background is too much, you can also go ahead and use the whole layer for reducing the opacity. You can see now it's gone, now it's better, and then you can adjust it a little bit so it fits to your wishes. For the background, we create another layer above this one, use clipping mask, and now everything we will draw will be only on this layer, which means behind Sangoku, and also behind of all the lines are here and the colors from the background protagonists. So everything we will draw will just be in the background, you see? We will not touch any of the figures. For the backgrounds, I will choose from elementals the clouds. They look absolutely stunning, look at that. This looks amazing right away. It's so fastly done and looks so cool. Now I will choose like more of a reddish color, orange, reddish like. Let's see how it looks. A lot of power right there. I really like this one. And now let's just go in and add like really dark clouds, so it looks like an explosion of sort in the background. We can also use water, turn everything to white, and then we can do like it looks like flashes in the background. Also very nice. That's a cheap way to do a background really fast, but I love the looks. Now I'm just trying out some different stuff. Make it more colorful and use more of the lighting effects from which are very often to be seen in all those Dragon Ball drawings, and I think it's looking pretty cool. And you can try out whatever you want. If you don't like it, just make sure to make it on an extra layer if you have enough layers. And if you don't like it, you can just remove the layer easily, and yeah, that's that. But I actually like it, and I will go ahead and do some more effects like those. Very cool for effects is the light pen. You can draw with light like this. Check it out. This looks cool, right? And so you can see with just a few effects, you can add so much more to your Dragon Ball drawing. Looks pretty cool, don't you think? And we are done with our very colorful Dragon Ball Z drawing. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments if you like it. One of the biggest differences between the anime drawings and comic book drawings you can see on the spawn I did right there. There are way more strong blacks. And the anime drawings, they are way lighter. If you compare it again, it's a very different approach. But both of them are looking really cool in their own way, and I really love both of those styles. What's your favorite style? Let me also know down in the comments, please. But that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, of course, and turn on the post notification bell and turn it to all. Otherwise, you will not get notifications for one of my future cool videos. And now I want you guys to go and watch this video. You will learn a lot here as well. I really try to make the most out of the time we have here on YouTube to really entertain you a bit, of course, but mostly I want you to learn a thing or two. So see you there, my friends. Don't forget to draw every day, and yeah, let me know what video I should do next.